Have you been thinking, I want to sell my house, but I have no idea what to do? Today I'll list out 8 important steps to sell a house, so stay tuned. Thanks so much for joining me today. Welcome to my channel where I share real estate information and all things about living in beautiful Magnolia, Texas. Today I'm going to talk about 8 basic steps to sell a home and have a successful closing. Step 1. Choose a real estate agent or decide to sell the home by yourself or use an iBuyer platform. Today I'll only focus on listing your home with a traditional real estate agent, but I will address the other 2 options in future videos. After you select your agent, one of the first things they're going to do is help you determine what your home's value is and what it should sell for, based on other area sales of homes comparable to yours. They should also provide you with what's called a seller net sheet. This is an estimate of the costs involved to sell your home and what money you can expect most likely to receive after you pay off your existing mortgage if you have one. Step 2. Get your house ready to sell. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat this step. It's usually the hardest for most sellers. This is the time to declutter and clean your home. You want to think like you're ready to move and go ahead and take down your personal photos and pack away Grandma's doll collection. Start thinking about this house as someone else's home. You do want to sell it, right? One of the services your agent may provide for you is a staging consult with a certified stager. I strongly encourage you to take advantage of this service or even pay for it yourself. Stagers are educated in what home buyers will find appealing when it comes to things like furniture placement and colors. They'll help you make your home look its best for every showing. This is also the time to spend a few dollars sprucing up your yard. Maybe getting some colorful plants for the front door area and some bright cushions or pillows for backyard seating. Curb appeal is so important, and a good stager and agent will help you with this. You also want to make any needed repairs so your house is more enticing to buyers. Some things are really quick and simple, like replacing light bulbs and touching up paint, but will make such a difference in the opinion prospective buyers will have. I'll talk more about staging and repairs in future videos. Now, once you have the house decluttered and spick and span, it'll be time for the photographer to take pictures and maybe video. And during this entire process, your agent will have you gather and complete any paperwork they'll need for the listing, like surveys and seller disclosures. Also gather any manuals or other items you're going to need to give to the future buyer so that they don't get packed away. And if you have pets, you want to start thinking about how you're going to manage them during showings. What about the litter box? Things like that. Step number 3. Put your house on the market and start showings. The first big day has arrived. It's time to put the sign in the yard, post the listing on the internet, and offer the home available for showings to potential buyers. This is a great time to plan a weekend trip out of town since the frequency of showings is usually highest right after a home goes on the market. You'll also need to allow extra time every day to make sure the house stays as clean as possible and ready for showings with very little notice. Your agent will probably advise you not to plan any elaborate or aromatic meals while your home is on the market. In fact, this is a great time to catch up on all the restaurants you love, since a lot of buyers look in the evenings after they get off work. And depending on the marketing you and your agent have decided on, you may need to be away from the home for several hours on the weekends for them to hold open houses. Step 4. Negotiate and accept an offer. Sometime after the listing goes on market, the plan is for a buyer to present you with an offer. Maybe you'll even receive more than one offer, what we call a multiple offer situation. Your agent will help you analyze the one or other offers and decide if you want to make different requests of the buyer other than what's written in the initial contract. Frequently, there's some negotiation back and forth with the ultimate goal of an executed contract. This is where both the buyer and the seller have signed and agreed to the terms of a contract. Step 5. Provide buyers an option period and negotiate repairs. In Texas, this step is a period of usually 7 to 10 days when the buyer hires inspectors, checks into getting insurance, and does their basic due diligence to confirm they plan to continue with the process of buying your house. They will pay you a fee per the executed contract to cover this time period. It's usually $150 to $300 in the Magnolia Woodlands area. After a buyer finishes their inspections, they'll typically ask you to make some repairs or replacements based on the inspection report. They may also just ask for a monetary concession toward their closing costs and instead make the repairs later on their own. You, of course, aren't obligated to make any repairs or give them any concession. This is all negotiable, but know the buyer will have the right to back out of the contract and have their earnest money returned, so long as they do so within the termination option period written into the contract. And if you have questions about earnest money, make sure and watch my video on this topic. There's a link on the screen somewhere, maybe above my head or down below in the description box. Step 6. Wait for the appraisal to come in. Assuming the buyer is going to finance the purchase of your house, their lender will almost always require an appraisal. This is usually ordered right after the option period ends, but it technically can be ordered anytime. The buyer will pay for this, so you don't have to worry about it. This is an important step in the home selling process that sellers need to understand, and your agent will probably talk to you about this when y'all discuss how much to list your home for. At this point, you do have a ready and willing buyer for your home, and y'all have agreed on a purchase price. But the appraiser has to agree that the house is worth that price, or the lender probably isn't going to lend the money for the buyer to buy it. And depending on how the contract is written, the buyer may also be able to walk away from the purchase if the home doesn't meet appraisal. So you can see the influence the appraiser has and whether or not this transaction goes through. It's important for your home to look its best the day of the appraisal, just like if you were showing it to a prospective buyer. You want the appraiser to have the most favorable opinion of the house possible. Now, it depends on the appraiser, how busy they are, and what kind of loan the buyer is getting, as to how long it's going to take to get the evaluation back. And this report usually goes directly to the lender, who will share with the buyer and their agent, who will then let your agent know. All you really, as the seller, care about is that the appraisal meets or exceeds what you agreed to sell it for in the contract. If not, you and the buyer have the opportunity to negotiate again, which may or may not keep the process moving along. If it does meet appraisal, you should be a happy camper and are one major step closer to finalizing the deal. Step number 7, the walkthrough. This is a short but very important step. Usually the day before or the morning of the closing, the buyer, along with their agent, will tour the home one more time, making sure it's in its agreed upon condition per the contract. Believe it or not, homes have flooded or burned to the ground in the hours prior to closing, and a buyer needs to know that the home they're buying is still in the condition they're expecting. Step 8. Close, fund, and turn over possession. The big day has finally arrived. Somewhere in the past week or so, the title company will have scheduled an appointment for you and the buyers to either come into their office, meet remotely, or sign paperwork electronically. As I film this video, we're in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, and my industry is going through quite a lot of transactional changes. So by the time you see this video, who knows what options you may have. Anyway, you'll need to sign all the required legal documents one way or another. You'll also need to arrange for the transfer of the keys, garage door remotes, and any manuals, etc. that you need to provide to the buyer. Usually, once the buyer's loan is funded, the title company will either provide you with a check or wire your proceeds to you, and the buyer officially takes possession. You should have all your belongings out of the house at this time, unless a temporary leaseback has already been agreed to per the contract. Congratulations! You've now sold your house, and it's time to celebrate. Hopefully this video helped you understand the home selling process better. If you have any questions or thoughts, please leave me a comment below, and I'll do my best to address them in future videos. And if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and hit the subscribe button and the bell down below to be notified when a new video is published. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to helping you with your real estate needs in Magnolia, Texas.